When Callia and Gallus finally managed to save the missing kids of the village Lua, they brought them to the exit of the fairy forest. There, the missing kids met with their worried parents, who embraced their kids with tears in their eyes. Witnessing the warm reunion, Callia instructed Gallus to return to their mansion. Arriving at the front of the mansion, Callia scared Gallus by mentioning that Alan would surely scold them. When they entered inside, they were shocked to find Alan wearing a weird costume. Suddenly, Alan embraced them tightly and expressed that he thought they had died inside the forest. Hearing this, Callia and Gallus embraced him in return and thanked him for concerning about them. Later, when Alan inquired if Callia felt any pain around her belly, Callia mentioned that her baby seemed healthy and was active these days. Hearing this, Alan kneels in front of Callia and happily expressed that giving birth is a sacred thing for any lady. So, let's dive into the chapters 40 and 41 of the manhwa, The Baby Isn't Yours. Observing the sweet conversation between Callia and Alan, Gallus smiles and reflects that Callia will be happy if she settles down and lives here, because she looks much more comfortable here in Lua than in the Empire. However, sometimes Callia looks insecure. And why does it feel like she lost something precious without her even knowing it? Gallus then wonders if Callia wants to go back to the Empire for her baby's father. Suddenly, she delivers a gruesome expression and asks herself who could be Callia's lover and the baby's father, as the man very close to her is not only Archmage Shyman but also the crown candidate Prince Louis. At imagining Assistant Brick's face, she displeasingly declares that she'll exclude him as he has a wife. Shocked, she assumes that if either of those men is really the baby's father, then the Empire will quickly be turned upside down. Perplexed, Callia asks if something is wrong, to which Gallus maintains her composure and states it's nothing. Changing the subject, Gallus inquires if Alan can see through animals, more exactly an egg of a dragon. Baffled, Alan tries to confirm if he hears correctly that this egg belongs to a dragon. With a feverish expression, he asks where they got this rare dragon's egg. Approaching, Callia questions if he can diagnose this egg and finds out its state. To this, Alan mentions that he has to confirm it first if there's something written about the dragon's egg in the books. For this, he casts a scrutinizing spell on the egg and begins to glare at it seriously in silence. Observing this, Callia asks if there's something wrong, to which Alan responds that he is uncertain about what to do. But after examining the egg thoroughly, he can only say that the egg is getting weaker. And as he declares that the egg is diminishing minute by minute, Gallus springs up right away. She quickly recalls that the egg tried to save her and the kids from the wolves by releasing its energy. Nervous, she inquires if the cause of its diminishing is the loss of its magic. Hearing this, Alan affirms Gallus's mentioned reason. Crying, Gallus begs Alan to protect it at any cost, to which he states that there's nothing he can do. In the midst of this, Callia wonders about the extensive use of the magic by the egg. Observing her reaction, Alan inquires what she is thinking so deeply. Extending her hand, Callia declares that she will try to transmit the power of her sword into the egg. Plus, it can't be as effective as when an archmage does it, but she should at least try her best for its sake. Witnessing this, Alan and Gallus shout, mentioning that it can be dangerous for the baby. However, Callia silences them and expresses that she is totally fine, and just a bit dizzy because the egg absorbed the powers so quickly. Pulling her hand, she expresses that it will be hard for her to do it again, so they'll have to wait till next time. She then suggests them to go to the Lord's place, as they need an archmage for further treatment, at which Alan mentions that he will go there tomorrow. Suddenly, the bad odor of the wolves' blood on their clothes begins to spread inside the room. Unable to bear the smell, Alan rebukes and instructs them to take a quick bath. Dear viewers, apologies for the interruption. If you're genuinely enjoying the content on this channel, please consider hitting the subscribe icon with all notifications, since this little support of yours will help this creator continue delivering high-quality work to brighten your day. And take a moment at the end of the video to leave a comment, sharing your thoughts on the content. Your feedback means a lot. Now, let's not take up too much of your time and jump back into the story. Meanwhile, deep inside the fairy forest, Prince Adio encounters Kia's father, Callia. Adio asks if Callia is human or fairy as he doesn't have the unique light of a fairy. Adio then assumes that fairies aren't around to protect this small forest. But out of nowhere, Adio shivers in fear at sensing the strong presence of Kia's magic at a distance. Clenching his chest, he wonders what is that all of a sudden. Further, Callia warns Adio and his servant to leave the fairy forest right away. Hearing this, Adio glances at Callia's sturdy body, reflecting that there's an almost insufferable flow of energy, and it can be only come from the king of the fairies. Instantly, two unknown devil's puppets come to Adio's defense. Seeing this, Callia assumes that it must be the devil's power. However, he defies his assumption and remembers that the devil is locked in Chimera. The puppets quickly make their move and cast a strong spell toward Callia, but Callia manages to escape before being directly hit. Meanwhile, Adio also escapes the scene and runs in unknown direction, and as he hides at a place, several small spirits arrive behind him and declare that him an enemy. One of the spirits angrily asks if she can eat him, but another reminds her that the king didn't allow them. However, they decide to attack Adio and spring towards him simultaneously. Noting their presence, Adio swiftly grabs one of the spirits and kills her brutally. Activating a fire spell, he burns the other spirits, turning them to ashes in seconds. He even spread the fire in the fairy forest and burns more spirits. From here, the scene shifts to the town of Lua, where the pissed Adio reflects that he thought the king wouldn't be there. Maintaining his composure, he commands a person named Demon to appear before him. Complying, a dark-skinned lady embraces him from behind and refers him as her love. She then complains about him sneaking out while she's resting and coming back injured. Caressing Adio's cheek, Demon asks why there's a scar on his beautiful face. Adio, feeling gloomy, expresses that he is tired and wants to head back to the Empire. To this, Demon reminds him that they had a contract between them, so he can't leave her. Smirking, Adio asks if she is an ambitious woman, as she wants him forever in her arms. She delivers a smile and declares that she will treat him well. Suddenly, Demon informs him that the shadow she sent to the Lord's territory returned with interesting news. And the news is that a living dragon's egg was brought to the town of Lua. Blushing, she inquires if she should steal that egg for him. Hearing this, Adio pulls Demon towards him and expresses that's why he likes her so much. From here, the scene transitioned to Lua's Lord's mansion, where Gallus and Alan arrives with the dragon's egg for further help. And as they get informed that the Lord is running late, they begin to enjoy their tea and snacks in silence. After some minutes, the servant passes the news that the Lord went somewhere in hurry and will come back after a month. Hearing this, Gallus asks Alan what they will do now. To this, Alan suggests bringing the egg to the nearest magic area for a power source. Changing the topic, Gallus inquires if Callia's delivery day is getting closer. Alan affirms her words and mentions that Callia's baby's growth rate suddenly escalated, so the delivery will likely happen within a week. With a relief expression, Alan reassures that there's no problem with Callia. Hearing this, Gallus smiles and praises Alan for protecting Callia so much. Pissed, Alan responds that he will continue doing that, but asks what about Gallus. Changing the topic, Galla begins to praise Callia, stating she was so cool yesterday, and isn't she like a goddess of the wind, moving so swiftly even during pregnancy. Losing his temper, Alan declares that Callia will have to rest for a while after giving birth. With glowing eyes, Gallus dramatically declares that she will protect Callia by any means. Suddenly, the Lord's Archmage arrives and begins to cough loudly to get their attention. Perplexed, the Archmage apologizes for the Lord's absence. He then inquires if that is the dragon's egg, which is in grave condition. And as Gallus confirms it, the Archmage mentions that it's his first time seeing one. Scrutinizing the egg, the Archmage activates the messaging crystal. Activating, a lady from the Ministry of Magic appears, to which the Archmage informs her about the dragon's egg. The lady shouts loudly, questioning how big is it and what's the status of the temperature and shell. To this, Alan informs her that the egg took the form of a baby but its temperature is dropping. The lady springs up, saying they can't waste more time if the temperature is dropping. After a heated conversation among the ministry's employees, the lady decides to send a specialist to Lua in a couple of days to examine the egg. Concerned, Alan advises sending a high-class archmage due to the egg's severe condition. To this, the lady assures him that they will send their finest archmage, Derek, for this mission, as Derek will save the egg immediately by delivering his magics into the egg. Suddenly, someone informs the lady that Archmage Dirk exploded the magic area. Hearing this, the lady apologizes for Derek's mistake and clarifies that he will be there in 2 days. And as the lady disconnects the crystal, Alan and others immerse in silence, wondering what was that. Seeing this, the Archmage tries to cheer them up, mentioning that they're lucky it'll be only 2 days. Releasing a sigh, Alan reveals they found this dragon's egg near the fairy forest, and he thinks the kids passed through the fences that they knocked down, so he feels very guilty as he is partly responsible. Therefore, he wants the Lord and his authority to tell the villagers that it's them who found the egg. Shocked, the Archmage questions if Alan really wants to do it, as the person who found the egg will be rewarded a large sum of money. With a gruesome expression, Alan expresses that they're fine, as they feel guilty whenever they think of the missing kids. He then begs with the Archmage and signals Gallus to join him in persuading the Archmage. At last, the Archmage agrees and declares that they will use the rewarded money for the village's progress. But as the Archmage touches the egg, it gives him a quick electric shock. Gallus springs up with a scared face, while Alan asks if the Archmage is alright. However, Gallus notices a detached shadow of the Archmage from his body. Observing this, she shivered heavily and wonders what that is. As we wrap up today's segment, thank you for being with us until the very end. I'll be sharing fresh videos of this manga and exciting new series every weekend. Your support is invaluable, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Your encouragement keeps the channel thriving, and I appreciate it immensely. Until next time, take care and goodbye.